Your avoidant ex is running a detachment test on you. And here's the truth. It's real, but it isn't measuring what you think. They're not checking whether you still love them. They're checking whether they can come near you without immediately being pulled back into the relationship. And the dangerous part is this. The moment they learn that contact feels safe again, they may pull back. Then you spend the next 3 weeks studying the conversation, looking for the line where you failed. There are 5 moves to watch for: the silent observation, the low-cost ping, the latency test, the temperature check, and the retreat after a good conversation. But the last move isn't theirs, it's yours. You went quiet. Not as a tactic. You'd already said everything true, and saying it again wasn't going to change anything. Weeks passed. Then their name appeared at the top of your story views. A few days later, a like on an old photo. Then the message, "Hey, hope you're doing well." Your chest did the thing it used to do. You kept your replies short. They were warm. They asked a question. You answered honestly. For one evening, it seemed possible that they genuinely wanted to reconnect. Then nothing. Seen. No reply. The story views carried on as if the conversation had never happened. And you were back asking whether you'd been too warm, too fast, too honest, too much. You weren't imagining the warmth. The mistake is assuming that warmth meant they intended to come back. Back in the 1980s, Leslie Baxter and William Wilmot studied what they called secret tests, indirect ways people find out where a relationship stands without asking, watching, hinting, creating a small situation and seeing what comes back. They appear when someone wants information without tolerating the vulnerability of asking directly. Put that beside avoidant attachment. Closeness can start to feel like expectation, obligation, and loss of autonomy. Withdrawal restores control. After enough distance, that pressure disappears, so contact can feel safe again. That's the detachment test. Not, do they still love me? More like, can I contact them without this becoming emotionally demanding again? Your silence didn't make you irresistible. It made contact with you feel less demanding. That says something about how they experience closeness. It says nothing about your worth. Quick pause at the desk. If you've been on the receiving end of this, leave a comment and tell me, what was the moment that made you wonder whether they were actually coming back or just checking whether the door was still open? The story view, the random message, the good conversation followed by silence. Whatever it was, let me know. Now, let's open the first exhibit. Test 1. The silent observation. The clue, they're in your story views. Not once, regularly. They check your profile. They like an old photo late at night. They never message. You know what you think it means? They're thinking about me. They miss me. They're working up to something. Here's what it establishes. You're still important enough for them to check on. Research on monitoring an ex online finds that people who keep watching former partners tend to recover more slowly and report more longing. Watching is not necessarily meaningless, but it costs them almost nothing. A story view requires no vulnerability, no difficult conversation, and no risk of rejection. It gives them information about you while revealing almost nothing about what they intend to do. The mistake is treating the view as a message, posting for an audience of one, timing stories around when they're online. A view tells you they were curious enough to look, nothing more until their behavior proves it. Test 2. The low-cost ping. The clue, hey, hope you're well. A meme with no caption, happy birthday at 11:40 at night. An inside joke with nothing behind it. Everyone can be walked back instantly. If you respond coldly, they've risked little. If you respond warmly, they've learned something. So the message may simply be asking, can I still contact you? And notice what's missing. The breakup, the rupture, any real repair. It establishes willingness to make contact at almost no emotional cost. Real but limited. And this is where your best qualities can get used against you. Someone gives you a tiny amount of contact, and by the third reply, you've given them 20 paragraphs of honesty. I'm glad you messaged. I've actually been thinking about everything, and I realized, not because you're desperate, because you're sincere, but you've introduced emotional depth into an exchange they deliberately kept light. The correction is not be colder, it's respond proportionately to what is actually being offered. A casual message gets a casual reply because they haven't offered anything that justifies more yet. Test 3. The latency test. The clue, they started it. You answered like a normal person, warm, proportionate, nothing heavy. Then they took 8 hours, or a day, or the replies came back thinner, shorter sentences, cooler tone. The question stopped. You think, I said something wrong. I was too keen. They regret messaging. Research on attachment and messaging has found anxiously attached people tend to reply faster, while avoidantly attached people tend to take longer. The delay can fit the same pattern. Approach, make contact, then restore distance. Don't grade yourself on their response time or hunt for the sentence that caused the withdrawal. What matters is the pattern. They approach, connect, then increase the distance again. Test 4. The temperature check. The clue sounds harmless. How have you been? You still at that place? Saw this and thought of you. Maybe they're simply making conversation, but sometimes the questions underneath are you angry with me? Are you still waiting for me? Will you confront me about what happened? Can I talk to you without this becoming a conversation about the relationship? Their old expectation may have been, if I engage, they pursue. Now they step forward, and you don't chase. That's new information. They may be experiencing the kind of contact an avoidant person finds easier. Connection without immediate expectation. But don't turn your calm into proof that a strategy is working. You've only established that they currently feel more comfortable interacting with you. Rebuilding a relationship is a different question. Test 5. The retreat after a good conversation. This one hurts most because nothing seemed wrong. You have a genuinely good conversation. They're warm. They ask real questions. They remember something small about you. It runs an hour, maybe 2. You go to bed with the warmth still in your chest. Then nothing. No follow-up. No escalation. The story views continue, and immediately you think, I got too comfortable. I said the thing. I ruined it. But the conversation may not have gone badly at all. It may have created exactly what avoidant people can struggle with: renewed closeness. They enjoyed talking to you, felt connected, and that connection may also have brought back the fear of expectation or obligation. So, they restored distance. The retreat doesn't prove the connection meant nothing. It tells you connection was not enough to produce consistent behavior. Maybe when you were together, you initiated the check-ins and tried to repair every rupture. Perhaps they experienced that pursuit as pressure. But this time, you didn't pursue, and they still withdrew. Your pursuit was not the whole problem. Closeness itself may activate their need for distance, and you cannot build intimacy with someone who can only feel comfortable when it stays limited. Now let me open the trap. If you've been listening carefully, some part of you has already started building a strategy. So the calm works. Match their effort. Stay neutral. Don't pressure them, and eventually they'll feel safe enough to return. That's the mistake. Because if your calm becomes a technique designed to make them come back, you're still organizing your behavior around them. Every reply gets calculated. Every breadcrumb becomes evidence that your strategy is succeeding or failing. You're still sitting the exam. Intermittent, low-investment contact has a cost too. Research links it with more loneliness, helplessness, and lower well-being. So here is the verdict. Your calm isn't a technique. No contact was never meant to turn you into the perfect low-maintenance person for someone who cannot tolerate closeness. The secure question was never, did I pass? It's, what are they actually offering? A tentative check-in and a genuine return can look identical at first. The difference is what happens afterwards. A story view establishes awareness. A like establishes low-cost engagement. A message establishes willingness to initiate. A sustained conversation establishes interest. Repeated initiation establishes motivation. Making plans establishes investment. Following through establishes reliability. Talking about the breakup establishes willingness to tolerate discomfort. Owning their part establishes accountability. Changed behavior, held over time, establishes the capacity to repair. A test stays near the beginning of that sequence. A genuine attempt to rebuild keeps progressing through it. And one question matters more than all the others. Is there room for your needs? Can you say, that hurt, or, I don't know what this is, without them immediately withdrawing? Checking whether you're still available while keeping you at a safe emotional distance isn't repair, it's information gathering. If there is no room for your feelings, questions, or needs, they are not offering you a relationship. Their curiosity can be real, their feelings can be real. That still doesn't require you to wait. And this is where I want to correct the question you've probably been asking yourself. Was I too warm? Too honest? Did I reply too quickly? Did I bring up too much? Was that conversation the moment I ruined it? Probably not. Your warmth told them you were still receptive. Your honesty made the interaction emotionally real. And if emotional reality was enough to make them retreat, that is important information. They may have been testing whether contact with you could happen without the expectations of a relationship returning with it. And the finding that hurts is this. You can give them exactly that sense of safety and still receive nothing you actually need. What was real? The bond, the recognition, their curiosity, the warm conversation. None of it has to be fake to be insufficient. Real was never the standard. Real does not mean enough. So the next time their name appears, the view, the ping, the how have you been, don't ask whether you passed. Ask what they've actually brought. If all they've brought is a casual question, answer it as a casual question and let their next action tell you whether there is anything more behind it. You do not have to prove your loyalty, your patience, or your emotional safety to someone who is offering you almost nothing in return. Keep those things for someone who can actually meet you with them. I have been the Relationship Detective, and thank you for watching. If this helped you see things more clearly, please give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I wish everyone watching all the best, and I hope to see you again in the next one.